and welcome to the show. My guest today is Amy Hume. Hi, Amy.
Hi.
Amy is the ultimate voice expert. She's a founder and owner of her own company, Amy Hume Voice Coaching, and a creative director at Viva Voice, a speech and drama studio for young people, and also a lecturer in theatre for voice at the Victorian College of the Arts in Melbourne. She studied with world-renowned voice teacher Kristen Linklater at the famous Columbia University in New York, and she's the sought-after voice and dialect coach for the entertainment industry on set for TV and TVC, and also for several theatre companies. And she also worked with casts like Billy Elliot the Musical for the Australian tour and Matilda the Musical in Sydney. So quite an impressive list for at such a young age. What you might not what you might not know about her is
I'm a massive fan of Bluey.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. And no shame there. And what is something you cannot live without?
The arts.
Yes. And what are 3 words that describe you best?
I'm curious, enthusiastic, and focused.
And what inspires you?
Women, the women I work with.
Oh, lovely. And what is the best advice you ever got?
Build your relationships, not your profile.
Ah, nice. And last but not least, what's your hidden talent?
Well, I'm not very good at it, but I recently took up knitting.
Oh, okay. Great. Okay, well, let's talk about how you shift your leadership. And I'll start with my first question for you. What's your take on adaptability, and where do you see opportunities to adapt?
I think that every time you're presented with a challenge, that is an opportunity to adapt. And I learned early on that when you're asked to do a certain project or be involved in a particular type of work that I would think would be beyond me, I learnt that actually those are the opportunities for growth and the opportunities to expand. And so I think that adaptability is actually quite a powerful thing in that way. If you can adapt, then a huge amount of power comes with that, because you can grow your own knowledge base, you can expand your skills, and you can end up entering kind of new markets. And it's certainly how I have ended up doing such a broad amount of work, working with actors and non-actors, because I was always able to say yes to the challenge rather than thinking, oh no, there's no way I could do that.
Yes, and talking about challenges, when you are working on those challenges, and definitely in times of pressure, how do you ensure that strategic thinking is still prioritized?
That is such a good question. But I was thinking, actually, a lot of the time in my work, I am brought in a time of pressure. Yeah. So I'm often brought into a show when an actor has lost their voice or is about to lose their voice. Unless the larger shows, have worked out, they can see that might be a problem. So I'm there from the beginning. So we avoid the critical stage. But also with when I'm working with like high level executives, often I'm brought in because they have a presentation coming up to 400, 500 people or 1,000 people within a short space of time. And so it's already quite an intense period. Yeah. And so I go into those circumstances. The key thing on my mind is always, well, what is the purpose of my involvement and what is the best outcome for this person I'm working with? And in my coaching with non-actors in particular, we will always talk about the purpose, because if the speaker can identify the reason for which they are speaking, they actually can then create the strategy for working towards the event or the presentation. And so there's strategies always involved, because you have to be able to go into a situation that's already kind of so at risk. You have to have a really clear reason for knowing. I have to know why I'm there, what I want out of it, and what's the best outcome for the client.
Oh, that's great to hear, Amy. And what would you say that amidst all of that, what do you do to keep up with the learnings for leadership and learnings from the industry?
Well, I'm reading all the time. I'm reading on, well, LinkedIn is a great source for business type reading. But also, because of the field of work that I'm in, I'm reading lots of journal articles and reading the latest bits and pieces that have come out, research that's come out, so I can see exactly what's kind of going on in the field. And also, looking for content as well, looking for listening to podcasts, but also, little videos like this that might pop up that just have little tidbits of inspiration, just get you through another day with a fresh perspective.
Yeah, fabulous. Hey, and how do you get clarity when you have real complex dilemmas? How do you deal with that?
I'm a real talker, so I know a lot of people write things down and they keep a journal, and I do a little bit of that, but my best thinking is when I'm talking out loud, and sometimes that's in dialogue with someone else, and we'll have a chat and a brainstorm about something. My sister is so amazing, because I can say to her, hey, I just need you to sit and listen to me talk this out. But I'm very good at talking to myself as well, and just thinking out loud. I find that if I can put language to something and I can articulate something, that helps me actually work out what I'm thinking about it and what's my strategy for going forward.
Yeah, well, as a voice coach, I bet you use your voice a lot as well, right? You practice what you preach.
Yeah.
And from reflection on these questions, when you were preparing, what have you told yourself out loud that you're gonna do differently going forward, or maybe be differently going forward?
Well, what I've realized that I'm missing at the moment in this working from home environment is that I'm missing my commute time. And even though I used to spend a lot of time commuting, going between different venues, different offices and theatres, being in one place has its advantages, but I was using that commute time to unwind, in a sense, and to be listening to podcasts and to be reading. And I think that when working from home, it's so easy to work right up until the very end of the day, sort of just before preparing the evening meal. I actually have to build that. I need to get my commute time back in the day and go for a walk. Something I have been doing recently is actually going for a walk right before starting work, so it feels like I'm walking to work, and then going for a walk at the end of the day, so it feels like I'm walking home.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. You're recreating that experience. So well done, very creative.
I try.
Well, thanks so much, Amy, for sharing your tips and your wisdom. And thanks everyone for tuning in. And let's keep shifting. See you next time on the Shiftability Show. See you soon.